Greetings, my name is Dave and I am a Lego guy. I have been collecting since I was about 3 years old when my neighbors gave me a box of old Legos they didn't want anymore. Back then it was all just bricks and oddball weird stuff. You know, I'll show you some of the old original stuff I got way back in the day. You'll laugh as compared to what we have these days. But I am a Lego aficionado. I love it. This is my very first Lego unboxing video. I am excited to do this time. I typically pick a Lego set because it is either interesting to build, interesting to look at, or has some really cool parts I don't otherwise have. This is Lego set 75300 Imperial Tie Fighter, 432 pieces with 3 minifigs, including Tie Fighter Pilot, which I already have, NIL-8, which is new to me, I'm excited about that, and Stormtrooper, which I have dozens, but I'm glad to have all of them. I'm also a big Star Wars fan. This set doesn't really have a lot that I can see that's interesting in terms of parts. There's nothing in here that I don't already have. However, I also have the full-size replica TIE Fighter, and it is huge. I like this one because it looks like I can put it together, and it's small enough for me to put on my desk or on a bookshelf and display it. So I'm excited about that. I picked this set up at Target. It's been a long time since I bought at Target, and I'm really glad to see they no longer stick pricing stickers all over them as any collector would be. I mean, obviously I'm not keeping this to collect, but if I were a collector, I would be very upset if I bought it and it had like pricing stickers all over it. So the box is in perfect shape, looks really clean. I'm going to say that I'm going to give Target an A+ on this. Really, it's hard to go wrong. If you were a collector, then it's hard to go wrong looking at the box prior to buying, as much as you might want to get it online. I'm going to use a small pocket knife to open the tape on the side. You know, you can try to rip it or whatever, but it's just going to make the box look crappy. And if you do want to keep the box for whatever reason, you definitely want to, you know, use a small knife. So I'm going to put this aside over here. Put it up where I can see it. Yeah, put it that way. So it looks like we have 3 bags of kit parts, the instruction book. This doesn't look terribly complicated. I'm sure I'll be able to crank this out quickly. You know, they started numbering their bags to match the steps in the production or the assembly, which I think is cool. I don't know. I find it pretty basic. I mean, it's not that challenging for me. But nevertheless, it's really handy, especially for younger builders. Each bag is hermetically sealed. They're not airtight, obviously, but it does help keep them nice and safe. Something I used to do, still not, I don't know what they have. They used to put the minifigs separate, and then I always put the figures, assemble them first, because I really like the, I don't know, any fan of Lego knows what I talk about when I say the snap of the neck. A brand new minifig gets that little snap figure, and then you can do the same in the arms, the legs, you know, the shoulder and hip joints, and then the wrist. But I'm going to follow the instructions explicitly, so if wherever they tell me to assemble the figures, that's where I'll do it. And we are going to do that right now. I'm going to post images of the sets. As you can see, it's pretty basic. So number 1 does have 1 figure, actually 2 and 3. So it looks like main body, right wing, left wing. I'm sure the right and left wings are very similar, so I might speed through that. So, step 1. Let's open our first bag. I'm excited. I'm always excited. Now, something I do, and I've been doing this for years, is I always sort my parts prior to assembly. It sounds like a waste of time. Honestly, it actually speeds things up quite a bit. Not only that, but you get to look at all the neat parts you have ready for you. So I'm going to go ahead, knock that out real quick. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, there's the legs. Feel that snap. Love that. There's the body. Oh, they didn't put the head on. One thing I always do is I make sure the wrists are turned up out of the box. They're oftentimes turned sideways or backwards. This guy's got a mean face. He's not looking happy. You know, he is one of the coolest looking costumes in the Star Wars universe, but he looks pretty mean. I'm going to put his helmet on there. And he's going to supervise the construction of his TIE Fighter. These are probably the... I've had these before. These are probably the blaster launchers. This kit comes with 2 blaster launchers. I'm not a big fan of spring-loaded Legos. I find I've got some old ones, and over time, the springs tend to rust out and snap. So I've got a bunch of them where you can't really get a replacement. I don't really consider Lego an action toy. It's not something you play with in that sense. It's more an imagination toy. So I'm not terribly excited about those parts. Nevertheless, they are fun to have. You know, you can't argue with more parts, and that's really, at the end of the day, what it's all about. But like I said, this one I'll probably leave assembled for quite a while. Put on one of my display shelves and roll with it from there. All right, getting close to done here. I always sort by color and part style. Nothing will drive you crazier than finishing a model and realizing the 2 colors are swapped, and you got to tear half of it apart just to get the correct colors in place. Okay. And where'd that other one go? You don't have to be religious about it. I mean, you know, you can, if you're off, you know, if you have 2 piles of the same parts, it's not going to end things for you. We're also going to open up the small bits. There's always a smaller bag when there's small bits. These are all the, you know, the 1 dot bits and so on. These can be a little more complicated. It's funny, when I first was really into Legos and I first started getting the more complicated sets, not complicated in terms of complexity, but complicated in terms of parts, I was really kind of bummed out when I saw round Legos. I thought, that is not what Legos are about, but now I love them. You know, I was one of those guys for years that was like, oh, that should just be basic bricks. And then I realized, I took a good look at what a horse used to look like and what a horse looks like now. There's the blaster for the gentleman pilot. And I realized that, you know, it's just silly. Not everything has to be bricks. You can keep the bricks, do what you like with them, but, you know, it's not really the end of the world if you have some round pieces or some oddball construction things. I actually find that when I'm playing with the weird parts, that gives me some of my best ideas, my best imagination stuff. So, you know, don't be a hater. There are sets out there you can buy that are literally just bricks if you just want to build walls and ducks. So, you know, that's you. Go nuts. I'm all about it. Oh, that's interesting. I don't have any of these. This is new. So it's basically it's a one. The ones I have the bumps on all 4 sizes. These only have them on the 2 corners. That's interesting. Okay, happy day. New parts. Love it. These are new as well. I mean, these kind of make sense, but I've never had them. So, you know, the flats are kind of important. I used to play this game. Maybe one day I'll post the rules I had for it with Legos. And the flats, I always made them. These I've had before. Different, just one on either side. The flats were extra armor. So, you know, kind of cool. Okay, where are we at? The only tough part with the small stuff is when you get literally just one of something and it gets buried. So you got to kind of eyeball it as you set them up and try to. I mean, at some point I'll be searching frantically for something that I can't find. It's inevitable. And done. Okay. Step 1 was the assembly of our good friend the pilot. I'm going to call him Joe the Pilot. I don't really name all my minifigs. I have hundreds, but nevertheless. Step 2. This part here. And this part here is going to go here. Step 3 is the 2 grabby bits, the long ones, not these. Black. I just saw them. Wait, no, they're not black. They're dark gray. Sorry. The only problem I ever have with Lego instructions is the black and the dark gray often throws me off. Why is this not? Oh, I see. Okay, good. That's probably where the this is going to go. We got one of these. Dark 4x2 plate. 2x2 black plate. This is definitely black. 2x2 black cover and the angled black cover. These are the two blaster launchers. And finally, on this page, here and here. A lot of this, part of it is really recognizing change from image to image. That's always the tough part with assembling Legos. You got to be able to spot where the difference is. The fact that they put the piece count on each step really helps, but even then, it can be a challenge. I've got a good friend who really has a hard time with some of these sets because he doesn't have that ability to really recognize when. Oh, that's cool. When things really change. Now this is where I run into trouble. I need this one piece, but again, whenever it's one piece, that's a good chance for things to go horribly wrong. So we are doing 1, 2 here. They usually show you, if you see the instructions, they usually show you the smaller bits to sub-assembly them. I personally prefer to put them on the main unit itself. I don't know why. There's no real reason why. I don't know. Maybe, flashbacks. My mom vacuuming up Legos as I was trying to build things. It can be a challenge. Okay, here and these two. Am I correct on this? Yes. Here and here. One across. Honestly, the old sets, you'd have literally like 20 or 30 pieces in each step. They were cheap on how they made the books. These books are so much nicer to use. And again, like I said, it's... All right, that's it for page 8 and 9. On to page 10. Looks like a sub-assembly. We're going to start with one of these and one of these. 2 of these, rather. I remember when I got my first Technic kit, and these were so cool. These little rivet things, loved them. Long one in through here, short here. Now I think they overuse them a little these days, but who am I to complain, really? And this piece, and then flip it over. We're going to have 2 of these underside dealies. 1, 2. I should mention this is not just Star Wars, it's Disney Star Wars. I want to give them all due credit. I will say that since they took over, the Lego kits have gotten pretty amazing. So we need 2 of these. I got to build another one. So, mad props to Disney for when they do things right, they do things really right. Not necessarily a fan of everything they've done in terms of entertainment and movies lately, but I think overall they're solid. There it is. All right. Oh, there we go. 1, 2. It's interesting that the bottom side is 2 separate 2x rounds, but the top side is 1x4. Interesting. Anyway, so that's that. These now get assembled onto the main unit here and here. Obviously, those are the TIE Fighter wing mounts. Why did they not stay on? Oh, I didn't angle it right. There we go. Those are the main TIE Fighter wing mounts, and that's it for page 10 and 11. Page 12 and 13. Oh. This should be up at an angle. 2 of these. 1 and 2, obviously evening out something. And this, which goes right here, hold everything down. This time I'm actually going to do the proper sub-assembly. The larger sets, the larger parts, you really got to do that. But again, I mean, it's really redundant. It didn't really need the rivets here. I'm sure it's fine. But, you know, I'm not a Lego Imagineer, so I'm not going to complain. 1, 2, and 3. And this goes in the front, just like that. Well, that looks cool. I like it. All right, 1 and 2. Going here and here. I'm sure there's something going on top of that because it's really not as solid as I'd like it to be. And that's page 12 and 13. All right, a lot of small assembly on this one. I'm going to do the sub-assemblies as much as I did. All right, this one goes here. And we have one on the side. And that goes here, facing forward. Interesting. That's very interesting. I don't think I did it right. Nope, I did not. Made a mistake. I am human. Hear me roar. No, I see what I did. The part I messed up was it actually needs to be up one higher. There we go. And the reason I noticed is here, you'll now see that these two bumps line up for obviously something to go over it. When I did it before, it was down a half and it really didn't work. So always be ready to jump back a little if you miss a part. But now I know what to do on the other side, which is here, here, and here. 2 of these little L brackets. Here and here. I'm at that stage now where it's really actually fragile. And a lot of this stuff isn't really locked in yet, but it will. I can tell that it will be soon. Like in this next step, step 28. And this is going to go here and here. Drop it one more time, thank you. And this will go here and here. Now you will see everything's locked in, everything's solid, all the bumps line up properly. This is going to be a pretty cool assembly. Okay, this last bit here goes right here. And these 2 bits, here and here, I mean, it looks cool, a little redundant. I don't know if it really needed the whole T-bit, but nevertheless, it's solid. I like it. Good design. All right, page 16 and 17. All right, I'll go ahead and do the sub-assemblies just because. So again, same thing here. You'll notice the bumps lining up flawlessly so that we can easily put another piece all the way across the top there like so. It's really kind of cool the way they do it these days. Maybe one of these days I'll get into the mathematics of the Lego parts and how they line up. It's pretty amazing, honestly. Step here, 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 and here. Then the 2 little ankle bumps here and here. And then, what am I doing here? Miss something? No. Okay. This is where you see these bits work together. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. That is so freaking cool the way they set that up. Except I did it wrong. Ah. Sorry. I totally did it wrong. It's here and here. Just a quick double check, caught that mistake. Probably the next side. Nope. They haven't turned it around yet. Oh, they're doing this. So this will help to keep these side bits on. in addition to looking badass. All right, go over here. Same thing, this time do it right the first time. Here and here, then here. Squeeze these together. On to page 20 and 21. This and two of these. And one of these. And 2x2 black. And two more of these to round it out. I'm sure it won't be stuck on with just one pip. Yeah, there we go. Here and here. This is probably the top hatch. One's radar dish and one little scoopy thing. Never sure what those were called. And where does that go? Really? Oh, I'm doing it upside down. There we go. I thought that looked weird. There we go. And see how all the pieces, now everything's locked in. But again, I don't really see a purpose for this piece in here. I mean, it looks cool, but it's really hidden. You really got to look for it. But, all right. Here and here. And this is not correct. What am I missing? Did I rush through this? How is this wrong? I'm so sorry. Wait. No, I had it right. I'm sorry. I'm panicking over dumb stuff. No, I had it correct. And the red one's in the middle. I thought it was the one with the 2x2, but it was actually, or the with just the one bump, but it's actually, that was used correctly. All right, page 24, step 48. We are getting close to done with this assembly. This to lock this down. This to lock this down. Now, same thing, I almost made the same mistake again, but this time we're going to use the small bits, the square 4, 1, 1 here. And here. The little round bit in the middle gives it a little bit of a edgy flair, more sci-fi-y, which I appreciate as a fan of science fiction. All right. These go, oh, they're doing the same thing on the other side. Interesting that they left this bit here showing. I don't know. It's not typical of a lot of these sets, but nevertheless. And then reverse it. We're doing the same thing on the other side. Here and here. Sorry, Joe. Now you want to supervise the construction of your TIE Fighter. One of billions that will probably get shot down in 2 seconds. But nevertheless, you wear a cool uniform. Make sure this is lined up properly. I want to make sure the stripes go in the right direction. Don't want your stripes looking weird. All right, that goes there, up against the other one. This bit goes here. Those are obviously the controls. And it looks like our main fuselage is ready to go, leaving me with a few odds and ends left over to go into my collection. This is fairly typical, especially the little round dots and so on. Joe, I hope you're happy. You're going to be spending a lot of time in that until you get blown up by the Millennium Falcon. Okay, on to stage 2, which is the right wing assembly. Bag number 2. Feels lighter, which kind of makes sense. There's a lot more dense parts in this one. This is going to be a lot of plates and flats. So let's see what we get here. Anything interesting to start off? I got a billion of these. Oh, these are cool. I've got a few of these, but not a lot. They're the shorter versions of the big wing parts. I'm going to sort them left and right. Oh, that's different. Okay. I mean, I can see how it's used. I mean, you could easily do this with a 6x6 plate and then something on the bottom. But, you know, looks cool. Oh, here's, I don't know if is it N1 L8 or NI L8? Never quite sure. There's that leg snap, shoulder snap, wrist snap. Weird, they've got all the wrists pointing the right direction. I've never seen that before. Leave him on his back until he gets his head. Don't want him to look like a freak. Plates are easy. I like plates. They're easy to spot. When I was doing the Imperial Star Destroyer, it's got a lot of really big, different sized plates, and that was a challenge because I was constantly counting bumps to make sure I had the right plate going. But overall, they're a lot easier than the small bits. Yeah, there's nothing here I don't have a lot of, but I'm not going to complain. There's no such thing as a bad Lego. That's one of my rules. Oh wait, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, these are new. Put all the new parts over here. I mean, it's new, but not, you know, like, oh my God, this part. No, it's all right. Okay, weird thing going on here, and I hope this is right. I have 4 lefts and 3 rights on these larger angled plates. I hope that is correct. Probably it is. They're pretty clever about that. I've actually, oh, there it is. Duh. In my lifetime, I've never been shorted a part on a Lego assembly I've done. And I mean, I've assembled hundreds, so never been an issue. And then, of course, small bits. This is where it gets interesting. All right, here's the head for, I'm going to say N1 L8. That seems to work better. He's going to supervise the construction of this wing. Along with, of course, Joe the pilot. Lots of flats. Always interesting. You might notice that honestly, if I weren't trying to get this for time, when I sort my parts, I try to match up the stuff I know is obviously paired up, like these parts here. It's not guaranteed. Lego can oftentimes mix it up quite a bit, but it does save you a lot of headache. I bet you these go with these, you know, just based on my decades of experience. Yeah, so it's a bit of a time saver, but again, it's not the end of the world. The worst thing that's going to happen is you spend an extra 10 seconds looking for something. Whenever you have a lot of black in an assembly, there's the potential, it's not as visible. It's harder to count, harder to keep track. So black can be a bit more of a challenge, but honestly, it's not really a major issue. There we go. Yeah, I mean, nothing in here that's really super exciting. I hate saying that. Like I said, I didn't really buy this kit for interesting parts. I bought this one because I liked it and it looked fun, and it's not too big, and I thought it'd be good for a video because it's less than 500 pieces. So All right. Step 1, starting on page 30. One of these. One of these. You know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with plates that no one really does a lot of. When I say no one, I mean Lego really doesn't do a whole lot with them, but there's some interesting tricks you can do with plates. Like, for example, you can stand on one end. If they can fit them there, they actually work fine. Most people don't do that because there are parts that allow you to do that. But if you're, you know, just being scrappy and doing weird stuff, obviously everyone knows that 3 plates equals a brick. Something to keep in mind. All right, page 2 or 32. We're going to, interesting. Here and here. No, I've done a lot of cool stuff with plates. It's, you know, they're fun. They're different. They're not just about giving you a floor or a roof. That's actually the least interesting thing you can do with them. All right, this has an interesting assembly. I'm going to go ahead and do this one up here. Oh, didn't quite press it down. Is that not sticking properly? Weird. Huh. I don't know why that one's so loose. Maybe it's a part of the part. Get it. All right. Left and right. He's going to go here and here, along with 2 more of these, which go here and here. Interesting. All right, my curiosity is piqued, I'll be honest. This obviously holds everything down on those tip assemblies. Nice. And the 2 long ones, do these go all the way flat? Yep, they sure do. All the way to the end. I'm going to pick it up so I can press them down properly. And then flat, flat, flat 2x4 with just a hair, just 2 bumps showing. And that's part 1, I guess. Part 2. Pretty much probably a duplicate of what we just did. I have a feeling I'm going to do this 3 more times by the time we're done. Now, if you were particularly frugal and didn't have a lot of parts and wanted to really, I don't know, get some side parts, there are pieces you could opt to not include in your set. I mean, you have to have an eyeball for it, but eventually you get to the point where you're like, okay, if I'm not going to throw these across the room and just want it for display purposes, you can actually shave parts off and use them for other projects. I generally don't, but I know where to do it. I just mentioned it because I spotted a couple of parts in this assembly right now where you could easily get a few extra cool parts if you were so inclined. Again, not recommended. If you want your set to look good and hold up and, you know, be easier to reassemble should you ever drop it or your cat knocks it off your shelf, probably the better way to go. Alrighty. These parts here. And interesting. Oh, I see what they're doing. All right, sorry. Had a moment of confusion because it didn't have the big long plates, but then I remembered the big long plates, we only need so many, and there's the assembly. Okay, groovy. On to page 40, step 79. We're going to close up this gap here. Makes sense. Looks like a sub-assembly. We're going to use 2 of these and 1 of these. And then the 2 wings. Really? Interesting. There we go. see what they're doing. Okay. Another one of these. And two of the little 3x. Now these are interesting. You don't get a lot. You don't see a lot of the. For some reason, the flats don't usually come 3x1 or 3x2. Is that complete? No, I did it wrong. Again, after a while, you start to get a feel for it. Okay, I need a second one of these. So this is a two-part assembly. Should be a lot quicker. You just get a feel like when you do something wrong, either I can't tell if it's me spotting it in the instructions or just the set itself feeling wrong. But when you make a mistake on an assembly, you really do. It does just something about it just feels incorrect, and that helps me avoid a lot of mistakes. So it's like Spider-Man, his spider sense. My spider sense is Lego sense. So. All right, then these are going to go, is that how it goes? Oh, I got it. There we go. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. And that helps lock everything down. Nice. A+, that looks great. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, taking two of these. We're going to go here to here and here to here. We're going to add, oh, wrong color. What am I doing? Here and here and here and here. And I'm guessing we're going to have something go across here, but wouldn't swear to, oh, and one more. Yeah, definitely we're going to have something go across here. Probably one of these big flats, big 1x flats. And we're adding 4 more of these in interesting positions. Well, that's kind of cool. Oh, I got to make sure I get this right. This is actually, so far, the most challenging part. Oh, I see. All right, not that challenging. I thought it had some weird alignment. It's actually just going one off at an angle. Looks cool. Wow, look at that. That looks very, very Star Warsy. I like that a lot. All right, now we're going to put in a bunch of these. Here to here. Here to here. There's a lot of mathematics in Lego geometry, like how they get the angles just right for everything. It's actually really interesting. There's a number of very cool articles written on the geometry of Lego. It's well worth your time. And here and here. They're hanging on. That's hanging off a bit. Here and here. Okay. Okay, very cool. Bottom side for protective assembly. This is where they put the reinforcing parts on the back end. How are they doing this? Oh yeah, all right. So here, here. They're doing it all in black so it doesn't show up. Here. Same thing on the other side. Here, here, and here. Go to the front. See? Give it a little contrast, a little depth. And then these parts go, oh, that's cool. I mean, again, it's not the most exciting assembly. I mean, it's not, there's no real cool, interesting things, but just the effects are really solid. And one more. The way they're doing it makes it look really good. And these two go here and here. Look at that. That looks like a Star Wars TIE Fighter wing. That is cool. Flip over, plant this baby. Give it a good squeeze, just make sure it's all the way down. Looks like these are going here, here. It's always funny when they build it to basically be indestructible. It's locking down, you know, like it's actually going into battle. But really, honestly, it's fine. They could do it with half the parts and still have the same effect. Go over here, add the Imperial symbol. And then this is going to be the edge parts. You'll see part of it here. Like I said, these go together pretty obviously. Long, long, flat, flat, and then obviously this bit and this bit. We need two of these. I mean, pretty obvious to anyone that knows what they're doing here. Here, here. Let's put this on. Here, 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 and here. And then these go again, very cool geometrically. I like it a lot. Actually, that's a really cool assembly. All right, and one wing is done. We are left over with one round dot. I'm very excited to get one of these because I don't have a lot of these in my collection. So getting a freebie is a huge bonus to me. All right, stand up, Joe. You're not drunk, I hope. N1 L8, your assembly part is done, and we are going to move on to step 3, which is the left wing. All right, bag 3, which is the left wing. I don't know why they needed a separate section in the instructions. It's literally symmetrical. They're not asymmetrical parts, but nevertheless, got to do what you got to do. All right. Should be the exact same set of parts, but we'll find out. There's my Stormtrooper. Snap the legs, body, wrist facing the right way, snap the wrists. There's his helmet. Oh, they painted the inside dark. Oh, that's new. Interesting. Oh, this does have these, which are the spring-loaded laser blasters. We will be looking at those later. Oh, you know what? No, it is the same parts. Sorry. I got a little confused there for a minute. I'm not going to bother to left and right these this time. Let's get this thing done. Honestly, they could have just had a ×2 next to the first assembly and call it a day. But nevertheless, let's do it right. Honestly, at this point, I could probably do it from memory, but that's where you make mistakes. So I'm not going to do that. I was about to say I'm missing parts, but I didn't open the small bag. All right, there's the head of our Stormtrooper. Again, I mean, he doesn't have the scars the other guy, but he just looks... Is being unhappy and having a mean face a requirement to join the Empire? Is that the deal? All right, I'm going to call this guy Biff, the Stormtrooper. He's got a full-size blaster. He doesn't have that wimpy little pilot blaster that Joe has. So he's got the cool blaster. Biff and Joe. All right. Sort these out real quick. And all these. Now that I know where they go. Again, if I weren't trying to get this video done, I would be taking my time, and now that I know how the assembly goes, I would actually sort them out better. But let's get this thing done. I want to see the final assembly. I want to see the whole thing done. I think the Star Wars sets generally have some really cool, complicated builds. They're not, I wouldn't say they're, like, all right, when I built the the 3104 piece Imperial Star Destroyer that took 20 hours. That was a complicated build. That was like, holy crud, this thing is nigh impossible. And I made huge mistakes all the way through. It's just really a tough build. But this, most of the Star Wars stuff, I'm going to give it like a 6 or 7. Like most of the Technic and the Master Builder stuff is like, 7, 8, 9. I like I was planning on doing one of the Master Builder model kits, but honestly, it was a huge kit, and I was afraid that it would take too long, and this video would take like 10 hours. So this being my first video, I chose something that I knew I could put together relatively quickly and with ease. Am I missing one of these? Nope, there it is. Boom. Boom. Again, I know this is me just being really tightly wound with my Legos, but I really like to have all my stuff sorted prior. Okay, we got Biff put together, straight on to the wing, and I'm going to kind of blow through this as quickly as possible. This is, again, I don't know, it gets a little repetitive when you're doing it this way, but what can you really do at the end of the day? Is that right? No, that's wrong. See, this is why you don't rush. Nevertheless, the very first Lego set I ever got that had minifigs, before that I was just like Brock. The very first set I got that I really loved was the first Lego Technic kit. And it was a car, and it had steering wheel that moved, and it had a pistons, and the pistons, it was all, I mean, compared to what they do now, it was so like half-assed and weird, but it had all that cool stuff. It had a gear shift that actually shifted gears. It had seats, had big giant tires. The tires now, I mean, compared to the tires they put on even the Technic stuff now, it basically the size of like giant monster truck tires. But I don't know, I had so much fun with that. And then I got my first kit with actual minifigs, and it was the original Castle minifig set. It was all yellow Castle, all brick. None of these big assembly parts, it was all brick. And the original horses were bricks. They weren't even the molded horses. But the guys had swords and battle axes, armor. And I was so happy with that kit. I basically ignored that was a Christmas gift, and I ignored every other thing I got that day. And I did nothing but build it, and I would assemble it, I would take it apart, I'd assemble it again, my guys would go on adventures, they'd fight monsters, and it was a very positive childhood memory. So if anyone ever asks me why I love Legos, I flash back to those two kits in particular. I also had a brick or cement factory construction kit that was neat, had a crane and a conveyor belt. Maybe I'll find those parts one day and show it to you. I think the conveyor belt is still good, but part of the handle broke off, which is sad. There's nothing sadder in the world in my mind than seeing a broken Lego. Every time I come across one, and you know what? I'm so anal about never getting rid of Legos that I would have to keep that part and still get sad every time I saw it. It's really dumb. I should just get rid of them, but no, I can't do it. I can't lose a Lego, and I want to just destroy something besides Lego whenever I see a broken Lego. Kind of my thing. I've got rules for Legos. I don't get my Legos wet. Even the boat ones that are supposed to be floatable, I don't get them wet because you can get water will collect in the small crevices and it never really dries out properly. And you can end up with like mold and weird stuff growing in there. It's not healthy. But mostly it just washes off it washes the faces off your minifigs and any of the stuff printed on. Really, don't get your Legos wet. Don't throw them across the room. By the way, everything I tell you not to do, I've done. I used to build stuff with my Legos and then throw marbles at them and see if I could shatter them apart. And then I'd break a piece and want to cry. And then the next day I'd do it again because it was a fun game. And after a while, I was like, wait a minute, this is dumb. What am I doing to my poor Legos? All right. Like I said, I'm just trying to burn through this, and I'm vamping by telling you about my childhood Lego experiences. You know, but it was a big part of my childhood. It really was. You know, I'd get my ass kicked in grade school and then come home and build aliens. I'd build weird aliens and have my guys fight them and, you know, feel good about myself. If you are considering Lego for your child, I highly recommend it. Start them off with Duplo. Duplo is great. Can't go wrong. And, you know, it's whatever age is appropriate. Oh, but that's the other thing. Keep your Legos away from dogs, cats, and vacuum cleaners, because my biggest fear as a kid was my mom vacuuming my room and sucking up half my Legos. Drove me crazy every time she'd do it. And back then, I didn't even have the small bits that I have now. And even then, I was like, don't do it, Mom, please. My one rule as a kid was I always was barefoot with my Lego. That way I could feel them when I stepped on them. That way I know where they were. My dad never wore shoes in the house. And every day he would step on a Lego. And that was not a positive experience for me. But nevertheless, you gotta do what you gotta do, even if it tortures your dad. All right, make sure this is oriented correctly. Up and down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. These again would be for the radial gray arm, the radial gray portions that come off. Like I said, it's a cool design in the sense that it really uses the rollerblade. Sorry, I was skating the other day. It really uses the geometry of the Legos to maximum advantage, and in that sense, I'm very appreciative of this kit. You know, I'm sure it's easier now with, you know, computer graphics and everything else, but nevertheless, it's just really cool. I don't know. I like what they do. Everyone's like, oh, Legos were cool when I was a kid. You know what? I played with Legos when I was a kid, and all it was were bricks, and they kind of sucked. You had a lot of really square houses and a lot of really square monsters and whatnot. Now you can do anything. You can build anything. You can start with anything. I will say I'm not a big fan of the giant kits. Like the boat kits, I've got a bunch, and I don't like that they're just one big giant assembly. They do that so that it can be played with in the bathtub, which is guaranteed you're going to lose half your Legos down the drain. So obviously that's why I hate them. But nevertheless, I don't like it when a part that should be multiple parts is one giant part. I find that takes away from the enjoyment for me. This kit is cool. It doesn't have any of that going on. But even then you can find something interesting to do with those parts. You just gotta use your imagination, as it were. Getting close here, my friends. My Lego friends. What are we doing with this here? Notice they only gave me one extra between the two bags of these bits. I assume they figure any idiot can lose one, but if you lose two, that's your problem. Again, not a bad thing. All right, we're getting close, my friends. We shall soon have a TIE Fighter with which to terrorize the rebellion. Again, make sure the Imperial symbol orientated the same way. Notice the symbol actually follows the arms, but the symbol of the Imperium is six triangles. It's pretty cool. Nice symmetry there, Lego or Disney or Star Wars or whomever. New Legos always snap together so nice. All right. Nice work, Biff. We got 2 wings now. Sorry, didn't mean to knock you over with your assembly. Looks like they want the gray bits to go down. The dark gray bits, rather. You know what? I got it reversed here. I'll fix it later. It's no big deal. It's not that. No one besides me is going to notice. And here's where these go in. You can fire them off. Important safety notice right here, that don't let these bits go in the eye of any of your minifigs. If it goes into the eye of a human being, that's totally cool, but not any of your minifigs. And that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, Biff, you want to go for a little test flight, buddy? I'm sorry, Joe the pilot, Biff the stormtrooper. Biff doesn't get to ride around in a very cool X-Wing. Wow, that is neat. I like that. That's definitely going on my desk for quite a while, and then onto one of my shelves, my Star Wars shelf. Quick, easy. I mean, again, I'm going to call this about a, probably, you know, in terms of complexity, about a 5. In terms of neatness, like a 7. Like a 3 in parts. It's not a real, there's no real amazing parts here that you can't get in dozens of other kits. But yeah, I think this was really good. I hope you guys enjoyed my assembly and my unboxing. This is my first time ever. I have learned how to edit stuff. By the way, I just realized I'm looking down at my kit right here, and these are pointed right at my eyes, so I'm not going to eat one of those with one of my eyeballs. Yeah, I will be doing more of these. If you like them, please like and subscribe. And I hope you are as big a fan of Legos as I am. I will be going to the next San Diego Comic-Con next year, if and when they ever get it back together again. And I will be picking up some Comic-Con exclusive Lego sets with which I will use to do assembly videos like this. I have a plethora of old kits. This is brand new, but I'll be doing some old stuff too. And then, depending on if people are interested, you can always send me a message. I might do some of my own designs, but I don't know. I think the stuff that comes out of the kit is really cool. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a wonderful day.